This is the ideal position that you want to get them in. Large rabbits in general are not going to want to be carried around like a baby. So I'm gonna grab a smaller baby first to show you the handling in a smaller, closer up view of it, and then I'll show you how I would pick up a large one, okay? All right, so I've got Faye back here, and this is her daughter, is probably 8 pounds or so. And so you notice how I have her head tucked underneath there? Anytime rabbits get afraid or, you know, they're jumping and like thrashing sometimes, cover their face. Just put them down somewhere, even if it's on the ground for a second. If they've got lop ears, pull them like down to the side and cover their eyes. Think horse, you know? When they don't see what is freaking them out, then they don't get as jittery, right? So ideally, and I realize my head's cut off and I'm sorry, but ideally you want to be able to support their butt and their head. So hopefully you have long, strong arms and you're able to do this. But sometimes even when I'm walking, they kind of just have enough of it and they're like, put me down. Or when you're getting hot, like your body heat to them also stresses them out. This is the ideal position that you want to get them in, and she's close to my body too. So like this is what you're hoping for to be able to move them. All right, so in a minute I'm gonna go just pick up Faye here, and then but the one thing I want you to really understand is that be quick and confident. Do not act like you're afraid, even if you are, because they are going to sense it. And so they're like, well, I don't want this person who is not even sure to pick me up. They pick up on your nerves extremely quickly. So just get in there and yank them up. Don't be like, I see people when they come to pick up ones that they bought for me, they're super gentle and, you know, they're afraid to, you know, like they're gonna break it. That's gonna scare them. So be confident. Don't worry about it. Just grab them up confidently and strongly and move, okay? All right, so I brought you to a different angle, so hopefully you can see. But I'm gonna turn her around so that her butt is in the right position for me, right? So I'm gonna just, if she's sitting on a plate, on something like this where I can get over top of her, I'm gonna scoop her up like this and slip this hand underneath in order to support her underside even more to get her into the position I want her, okay? So I'm almost grabbing her upper shoulders. See my hands are right here? And then tucking her in, and she's got like extra fluff and butt that I'm not holding muscle, but I'm holding her like flat, like skin and fur and stuff to really make her feel secure, right? And then just set her back down, okay? That's the ideal transportation pickup, essentially, is what you're gonna shoot for. If they're in a cage where you can't get over them, this is what ideally you're going to do. And the scruff, I want you to understand, is okay. This is all loose skin, okay? They have it just like cats do. So even though they don't carry their babies, it's okay to use, like, she's got not as much loose here, but a lot over their shoulders. So usually what I will do is if they need it, I will pull their ears back, and I'm not pulling them. It gives me more control over their head. And then I'm also grabbing the scruff with this hand, just like that, okay? So I'm not gonna do this now, but let's say that pretend there's like a top here, and I need to get her without being able to do this, right? So I'm going to grab the scruff, and I'm gonna put my hand under her butt and bring her to the edge of the cage so she's right there. And then I'm gonna take this hand, or whichever hand you're least dominant in, and I'm gonna slide it under her hips and lift her that way, okay? So that way I can lift her off the wire. I don't wanna drag her because then she'll pull nails, right? If they are on a wire bottom cage. So lift her up and move this way, okay? She's doing pretty good. She was pretty annoyed with me at first. But you have to understand that French Slaps or large rabbits in general are not going to want to be carried around like a baby. You'll see people kind of like just holding them out, or you know, hanging them across their body or holding them like a baby. The problem with that is that's just not natural for them. They don't, you know, like love it. And especially when they're big like that, you're not holding them in the same manner. So like if, you know, you had a 5-pound one, well, one hand will do it, you know, and they've got a whole lot of body supported, where they are constantly nervous and afraid of falling. And so you kind of have to just understand that yes, you're going to have to move them and, you know, put them places, but you also just, you know, get them to where you want them to be and let them be happy. They're much happier sitting next to you and being petted that way. The other thing, especially if you are a rabbit raiser and you have a lot of work to do in like with all of them, whether it's grooming or nail clipping or whatever, put on a shirt that's tougher like this, that isn't, you're not worried about getting scratched or whatever. If you look at, these are older, but yeah, those are scratch scars, and so it's a part of the deal. But I also have a very thick jean jacket that is like, I mean, it doesn't mess around, right? So if you are practicing, or you know you're gonna work with a bunch of them, or some of them are just in a bad mood, then put on a jacket like that too, because you know I have scars like that up and down my arms too. So you just, you know, put on a jacket that will protect you so you can practice. And even I would encourage you to practice with a grumpy one. Like if you've got one that kind of just isn't in a good mood, you know, like you need to practice when they don't want to behave too, right? Another thing to remember is slick surfaces. I would never sit them on top of this. One, because it's slick, so they could hurt themselves if their legs went out. But also they're gonna feel way more secure on this than the plastic. So if they're kind of like just freaking out a little bit and not like cooperating, then check the surface. Like it might be something about that they are not liking. And I'm gonna put her back, and then I'm gonna show you one thing that I didn't catch with one of my new bucks. I had a tool that I like to use. It's like a carpet square that can hang. I'll show you that in just a second. So I have this, like it's a carpet on that, but these will hook onto a cage, and then I can like kind of have a little bit of a table right next to one rather than having to bring them all the way over here, right? So I had this sitting on here like that, and I was like putting one of my bucks on it, and he freaked out. He did not like this. So that's just one thing to kind of, or the thing that I was getting at was just check to make sure that maybe if they aren't behaving themselves, there could be something that you have them on that just doesn't mesh with them.